Hey guys, Zaman
and Christina
from
from
Our Rich Journey. On today's video, we are going to talk about the 3 different ways that you can achieve financial independence and retire early. FIRE. And this video is very special because it was inspired by a dinner that I went to the other night. And at this dinner, I was sitting at a table with a group of other expats here in Portugal, and we were talking about our lives and what brought us here to Portugal. And something that occurred to me as we were going around the table was that the majority of these people had already achieved some form of financial independence, and they were able to achieve it in various ways. And so this video is really inspired by that dinner and those conversations, because what we want to do with you now is share the 3 most common ways that you can achieve financial independence. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each way. And at the end of this video, we are going to give our opinion on which one of the 3 is the one that everyone should be pursuing at a minimum.
So I think what's really important is understanding these 3 different ways to achieve financial independence, but then also apply them to your unique situation. That is why we were talking about the pros and cons, because some pros may really work for you and others may not. But before we get started with that, if you are new to our channel is all about making, saving, and investing money on the road to financial independence. Aman and I pursued financial independence for 8 years. We reached our goal, quit our jobs, and retired before the age of 40. So if you are interested in learning about ways to make, save, and invest money, make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram. So we're going to get started and talk about these 3 different ways that people can reach financial independence and retire early. But before we do that, we want to touch upon one very important concept, and that is understanding how much money you actually need in order to reach financial independence and retire early. This is known as your FIRE number. It's the amount of money from whatever type of assets that you have that will pay for all of your expenses in retirement. And depending on the different types of ways that you pursue FIRE, whether it be through stock investing, whether it be through investing in real estate, or if you start a business, that will dictate how you calculate your FIRE number.
And this is so important because you will need to invest a different amount of money in real estate versus the stock market or even in your businesses. The point is you need to identify this number up front. This is the goal that you should start with, because by having this goal at the start of your journey, it will guide you better on your journey. And so let's talk about the 3 major ways that you can achieve FIRE. The first way is by investing in the stock market. We love to talk about this way.
So if you pursue financial independence by investing in the stock market, you have to create a portfolio that you can live off of, that will generate enough income from that portfolio that will pay for your expenses in retirement, but also never run out of money. So it's really important to find the proper asset allocation for your portfolio to allow for that growth and withdrawal at the same time. And this is actually one of the ways that we achieved FIRE.
And we talk about this particular way of achieving FIRE all the time on our channel. In fact, we open up our portfolios to show you exactly how you're able to do it. Because this concept of living off of your stock investments is something that is foreign to a lot of people. People invest in the stock market, but they fail to understand really how you live off of those investments on a daily, monthly, annual basis. And so check out some of our videos where we're talking about the 4% rule, how to live off of your stock portfolio. Look at those videos. But by investing in the stock market to achieve financial independence has pros and it does have cons. So let's talk about the pros first. The first pro is that it is easy and accessible to so many people.
The next pro to investing in the stock market for FIRE are the tax advantages, which are immediate. There are so many different tax advantaged accounts that either reduce your taxable income or allow your money in your tax advantaged accounts to grow tax-free. So that is a huge benefit to investing in the stock market.
The next pro is that investing in the stock market can be a very passive thing on your journey and then once you achieve financial independence.
And I really love the passive nature of investing in the stock market. It requires very little work in order to be successful, and then also in order to live off of that investment once you reach financial independence and retire early. So if you're the type of person that really likes the set it and forget it type of investment, investing in the stock market is probably a great way for you to achieve financial independence.
But let's talk about the cons, because investing in the stock market is not all peaches and cream. The first con is that it can be very risky. In fact, you could lose all of your money if you get too risky when it comes to investing in the stock market. The second con is that in order to achieve financial independence by investing in the stock market, you have to invest greater portions of your income. You see, when most people are investing for traditional retirement, they invest about 10 to 15% of their income over a 30-year period in order to retire at the traditional age. But if you are investing in the stock market for financial independence to retire early, you have to invest more than 10 to 15%. In fact, at one time, Christina and I were investing 70% of our income into the stock market. This is how people achieve financial independence, by taking greater portions of their income and investing that in the stock market so they can move that retirement date up earlier.
The next con is that if you are investing in the stock market for FIRE, you really have to plan on investing long term. If you don't have that long-term time horizon while you're investing, you can be very unsuccessful in the stock market. And that is because when you invest in the stock market, there is a lot of volatility that is involved with that type of investment. And if you are not looking for a long time horizon for your investment, that volatility could make you very anxious. You could be selling at a loss. Things could go downhill very, very quickly.
And this brings us to our next con. Investing in the stock market can feel very slow at first. When you initially start investing in the stock market, it feels like your money is never gonna grow. In fact, if you're looking at it on a day-to-day basis, it might even feel like it's going down a bit. But if you consistently invest and stay the course, what feels slow at first will begin to pick up steam thanks to the power of compound interest. But for many people investing in the stock market and it feels slow at first, you may lose that motivation. And so this can be a con.
So that's investing in the stock market, but let's move on to the second way that people can invest for financial independence and retiring early, and that is investing in real estate. Now, Aman and I invested in real estate on our FIRE journey. We were able to amass more than $400,000 in profit by investing in real estate, and we think it is a great way for people to achieve financial independence. But like we said, there are pros and cons for each type of investment, so let's talk about those as they relate to investing in real estate.
The first pro is that investing in real estate can get you to FIRE in a relatively shorter amount of time as opposed to investing in the stock market. You see, if you invest in real estate successfully upfront, you could see greater returns and start living off of those returns a lot sooner.
And I'll give you an example of how this worked for us. When we lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, we invested in real estate. And our very first property there, we only had to put about $20,000 down on the property. And over the span of less than 5 years, we bought that property, we bought 2 other properties using the equity of that property, and then we ended up selling all the properties for more than $400,000. That is more than $400,000 based off of an initial $20,000 investment in less than 5 years.
Now, if you took that same $20,000 and invested it in the stock market, it would not turn into $400,000 in 5 years. It would take a lot more time than that.
So this brings us to our next pro, which is leverage. So by investing a relatively small amount of money, you get a relatively large asset. And then you can use that asset to purchase other assets, to purchase other real estate. And so leverage when you're investing in real estate is a great pro.
The next pro is that you have more control over your investment when you are investing in real estate. If you want to increase the value of your real estate by doing additions or fixes, you can do that. If you want to rent or sell or Airbnb the real estate, you have the ability to do that because you are in control of it. The next pro is that real estate is a great hedge against inflation. And inflation is such a serious matter when it comes to living off of your income in retirement. And so if your income is tied to an asset like real estate that usually goes up as inflation goes up, it is a great way to support yourself in early retirement. So those were the pros of investing in real estate. Let's talk about the cons. The first con is that investing in real estate usually requires a lot of money upfront to get started. There's not just the money you need for the down payment, but there also might be money that you need to fix up the property, to furnish the property. And so this is a big con when it comes to getting started in real estate. The next con is that it can take a lot of physical and emotional work investing in real estate. It is not a set it and forget it type of investment. And if your financial independence, your early retirement is based off of real estate, you are going to have to do a lot of work. You are a landlord at this point. So keep that in mind if you are choosing to invest in real estate for FIRE.
The next con is the lack of diversification. Now, I already said as a pro, you don't have to necessarily invest in a lot of properties in order to reach FIRE. But the con to that is when you're not investing in a lot of different properties, you have less diversification amongst your assets. So if something happens where you only own, for example, 2 or 3 properties, and 2 of those 3 properties have tenants that aren't paying, that can drastically affect the amount of money that you have coming in for expenses in retirement.
The last con, and this is so unique to real estate, is that it has unique risks. I mean, what other assets could you be sued for if someone slips and falls? This is also an asset where if you have bad tenants, if you have tenants that are professional squatters, you may have a hard time getting them out. There are so many unknown and unique risks when you invest in real estate that this can be a huge con for people that don't do all of their homework and that don't have good processes in place to make sure that these risks don't overcome their real estate investments. And this brings us to our last way to achieve FIRE, and it is by creating a business. Now, we are going to be talking about this from a different perspective than most of you may think. Now, when most people think about starting a business, they may be talking about something that doesn't necessarily sound like financial independence. It sounds like you're creating another type of job. But when you are creating a business with the idea of using it to achieve financial independence, your strategy should be trying to create businesses that produce passive income. And passive income is such an amazing thing when it works properly. It will allow you true financial independence and true financial freedom.
So let's take this one step further. When we are talking about creating a business for FIRE, we're not talking about opening up a coffee shop or buying a franchise, for example. We are talking about that passive income. So something like creating an ebook or creating an app, building your own website, doing some sort of affiliate marketing, even selling your music or photography, something that allows you to create a product or a service and then continue to sell that without any additional work.
And we have met so many people here in Portugal that have done exactly this. This is how so many people are achieving financial independence now. They are creating one product, and after they have done all the initial work up front, they continue to reap the benefits of making money from that product through passive income. So let's talk about the pros of achieving FIRE in this way. The first pro is that you get to be your own boss. You get to determine what products you make and sell. You get to arrange every aspect of your business. The second pro is that the income potential is endless, depending on what you create. If you create an app that millions of people are using, you have the potential of making millions of dollars. So your financial independence income potential is out of this world when it comes to starting a business.
Another pro with this is that depending on what type of business that you create, you can have a lot of independence in terms of the location that you live. And I think this is really important, especially for people that are pursuing FIRE, because you're always looking for ways to cut costs. Now, if you create a business where you can move anywhere in the world and save on those housing costs, on all those extra expenses, this is a really great way to expedite your FIRE journey.
And the last pro is that the potential to pass on generational wealth is there when you are creating businesses. So if you have created something that your children can reap the benefits from, that is amazing. But what is most important when we're talking about generational wealth is that you are also educating the next generation on how to handle that wealth, or how to handle all of the passive income businesses that you have created. But let's talk about the cons. The first con is that there is a fine line between creating a passive income business or creating an active income business that doesn't really give you the freedom that you were looking for. You could start a business thinking that it is going to generate passive income for you, but it turns out you are doing more work than you ever thought you were going to do before you started the business. The next con is that the income generated from these businesses or one business can be sporadic. And so it may not be consistent enough to hold you in financial independence for the rest of your life. Because that is the ultimate goal with financial independence. It is to get there and stay there forever. And so if your businesses somehow go out of favor, somehow fail, it puts your whole financial independence and your early retirement in jeopardy. And the final con is that starting businesses requires a great deal of work up front. This is why everyone can't do it, because the hard work and determination that you have to put up front can require more than 40, 50 hours a week. It can take a toll on you. And so if you are gonna go this route, know that it takes pure dedication to develop a successful passive income business.
And so that is the final con, but we want to circle back to the beginning of this video where we talked about one of the ways that we felt that everyone could invest for financial independence. Now, we talked about real estate and businesses, but if you have those two types of ways that you're investing for FIRE, you may have additional income coming in from those types of investments that cover more than your expenses that you have on a day-to-day basis. And so when you have that extra money, we think a great way to invest is in the stock market. Because rather than taking that money and doing additional things that require more work, you can put it into the stock market and have that passive income generating in the background. And that is exactly what Aman and I did. After we invested and made more than $400,000 in real estate profits, we took that money and we put it into the stock market so it could grow with very little work on our part. Now, these are just 3 different ways that we want you to think about. Maybe not all of them fit into your specific plan for pursuing FIRE, or maybe you like one more than the other, but the idea is to really just get you thinking about the different ways to generate income. And so if you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and
join the journey.